Hey everyone, welcome back for the bonus episode of the Day After Show with yours truly, Danielle Staub. And
Yeah, welcome back, guys. We got some juicy things we want to talk about.
we do. So this is going to be the episode titled The Real Crimes of the Real Housewives and the Time Period. Dun, dun, dun.
It's time it should be addressed.
And it's irrelevant to this. We're going to keep it real short here, folks. I'm just going to get right to the points. There are some people in the franchise, including myself, that have had a criminal background or have gotten into trouble, or maybe just, slaps on the wrist that maybe were exploited in other parts of the franchise. But I'm speaking personally, and it's relevant to my story and to my life that, I did have, a very serious run-in and trial, the whole thing. But the timeline for me was, before I was even 20 years old. And even if I was 30 years old, I still wasn't on the show. I think it's really important for us all to realize, like, Nene Leakes didn't get arrested when she was famous. I didn't get arrested when I was famous. I wasn't even really an adult yet at that point. And at 58 years old, I think it's kind of interesting that I see, so many of these ladies taking for granted, like they've been in Hollywood their whole lives. Like, oh, I'm a celebrity, I can do whatever I want to do. You can't. You're being like held responsible and accountable for these crimes.
There's definitely
and
a
you're
level
teaching
of privilege.
These people who are part of this pop culture, movement. It's huge. It's massive. It covers every age genre. It's the widest age of viewers that we've ever had anywhere in all the history of ratings in all times. The range is just so bold and broad because there's young kids watching with their families because it's on. There's husbands watching, which they wouldn't normally watch Dynasty or anything like that. So the docudramas have taken control. And with that said, you're influencing young minds who are growing up now with this franchise aging, 15 years now since the first Housewife aired in Orange County. That's a lot of responsibility for the millennials. It's all of the millennials and the Giats. I don't understand why it is
that Gen Z.
The Gen Zs, thank you. Gen Zs, yeah. I'm thinking Giats like stones, and I got a Gen Z who's probably gonna crack me over the head with a ladle when I'm done here. But she knows I just got my second round of vaccine, so I'm really not me. Plus, I had a little,
so happy that you're vaccinated.
Yeah, I'm so happy that second round is over. It doesn't make me completely safe. It just means that I have it'll hit me a little bit lower. It won't be as intense, which means it could save my life. With autoimmune disorder, you have to do what you can do to protect yourself. And that's why I was able to get it before, general public. It's people that are high risk or work high risk jobs, period.
For sure.
Or their families too. So with that said, I really think it's important for everyone to recognize that while we hold this responsibility and this great honor in our hands to have this platform to stand upon and to share and to use in our own ways, I think it's time to turn it into something good. There is no good that can come from this. And you're just creating a facade that anyone can get arrested and, like Teresa, go to prison and be paid to write a book about it and then come out and have your job be held for you for a year. It's not going to happen, folks. And then you're going to go on a show and you're going to make another, I don't know, I'm not going to give away her pay, but it's up there for doing crime against you, against me, against all taxpayers, all people that got mortgages the right way, anyone who's following the system, at least trying, hats off to you, because Teresa just figured, I'm famous, it's no big deal. I'll get out of this. And she did. I'm not going to say that she got out of it unscathed, but she was still willing to come back onto the show and exploit even the deaths of both of her parents. I don't know what else her storyline might be. And I think it's a shame and it bothers me a lot. And she's not alone in that. Now we have the latest with Well, let's go to Luann for a minute. Luann had a really tumultuous divorce in season 2 of the New York Housewives, where her her I don't know, was he a duke? What was he? What is she? Countess. She's a countess. So
The
he was a
count,
count.
right?
I called her Countless Luann after those.
I love that.
She doesn't care for me too much, but if she didn't hear it before, if you heard it now, Luann, like, you are countless. Stop calling yourself Countess, because she remained with that title for quite some time. The title's removed when the divorce happens, darling. He was having an affair and he divorced her, but she was really like, okay, you can be a mess, but you got 2 kids that you're raising. You're in danger of maybe losing them if you do behave really poorly in this very public job that you have. And why would you then go out and get arrested for, drunk driving, or what else was it? She hit a police officer. I think it was a couple times that it was,
She stumbled into somebody's hotel room as well, thinking it was her hotel.
That's messy, man. Control yourself, woman. Come on, get a grip on yourself.
That's a little bit better than avoiding taxes, though, I would say.
I think that if you're going to do anything messed up, like, let it be that. At least you got, your buzz on. I mean, I got it. But I have controlled myself, and, because my kids might need me in the middle of the night. So who's going to wake up and take care of them? I mean, maybe she had help. Maybe it's different for her. I still think the example is there, and it shouldn't be happening. It can happen to anybody, I understand, but not over and over and over again. So with that one, just be careful. Use your platform wisely. What
about Jen Shaw?
I think Jen Shaw might be the one that I'm least familiar with, because she's one of the newer parts of the franchise. But people are sending me tons of information, and I appreciate that, especially my Robin. I'm not going to give last names, but it's important. You have to know people are watching you, and people are angry. I've been a part of this franchise since the very beginning, darling Jen. You better watch your step. You've been given an honor, and you're committing crimes. What? What for? I mean, why would you come on TV knowing that? You knew this could happen. Why? And when you left set that day, you knew what was going on. You knew there wasn't anything other than the fact that, you were caught. The po-po showed up, It's sad. I don't know if she has children or not. Does she?
I think she has a couple of children, actually. I've been watching that franchise. It's very interesting. She's very loud and has a very extra personality. But it seems like
I'll
her
have to
crimes are
watch
pretty
to
bad
really get a grip
against
on
people.
who she is. All I know is, like,
The
it's
things
not
that
cool.
she's accused for are pretty serious. She's committed a lot of fraud, apparently,
More
to
than
a lot of older people. Well, she is scamming
Theirs was more a
people.
Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it seems to be some type of Ponzi scheme where they were telling people that they would be assisting them with their business, particularly old people. And there's millions of dollars that have been stolen from these
Do you
older
see
people.
what lengths people will go to be on TV and to maintain a certain look in their lives? But I'm going to tell you right
Just
now,
for clout.
Unpack this for a moment, not too long, but I'm going to unpack it for a moment. I think the worst part of this entire franchise is allowing people to come on when they already know there's something that there's going to be exposed. Jen, I'm going to tell you right now, you weren't hired because you're the most beautiful in the crowd. And you may very well be very pretty, but that wasn't why they hired you, honey. They hired you because they knew you had a criminal thing and happening that was going to be captured for the franchise. So you've been duped, baby girl.
You really think that?
Oh, fuck. I know that 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt. Before 10 years is up, 10 minutes, 10 months. I don't know how long it's going to take for people to come out with the real truth. Bravo knows everything about us before they ever bring us on the show. And that's why I was the most interesting character, because I had gone through a divorce. They weren't looking into my past. They might have known about it. They didn't care. They actually told me they didn't want me to bring the book to the reunion. I mean, not to the reunion, to the finale.
To that table, right?
They asked me, are you sure? Because once that happens, Danielle, like, it's going to set everything into motion. I said, you want the ratings? Fine. You've already talked about me and I haven't had any defense. I'm going to address it to the entire fucking group of them, men and women alike. It doesn't matter. They had no right to be talking about me when none of them really knew me. The only thing they knew is that Caroline couldn't, from the Brownstone, they didn't make the cut with our food for our parties that we catered, and, you know, the $500,000. It doesn't even matter how much it costs. It just means we had a really large budget for food, and we did tastings like any event would do. And they never made the cut. And I didn't even know who the Brownstone was until I realized my party planner had called me and said, Amy Winters, hi, honey, with Party Perfect out of Tenify. She literally told me, like, this is one of the things that legitimately I can repeat. She goes, in the tastings, once I got on the show, I ran into her down by Avenue in Monmouth. I was eating brunch or something and maybe going to an event, which I was hired to do upstairs for the opening of the pool or the rooftop, whatever it was. And she says, oh my God, I can't believe I'm running into you here after all these years. You know, it had been a few years since the divorce, blah, blah, blah. She said, legitimately, like, when they bring these things up, there's no way that you can make any of these things up. Like, these people literally gave their food for a tasting, not once. This is the Brownstone I'm talking about, not twice, but 3 times. And every time we didn't know whose food we were eating, we were tasting. You know, it was like blind tasting. And then we figured out how we were going to get the, you know, which one we were going to use by not knowing any names. I didn't want to know the names of these people, but the Brownstone was turned away, and Amy was asked to present it 3 times, the food. Wow. Because it was high. It was a lot of money. It was a $60,000 to $75,000 gig for the food alone.
Wow. Well, speaking
but I think that you know, if you go back and you really look at the crimes since people have become famous, I mean, speaking of the Manzos, we've got Dina and Caroline, all that stuff going on with the beating one another up and everything else. And, you know, now they're in court or something. I don't even know if it's, you know, legitimately over or not. I try not to read too much about it. I get the information when people send me stuff. I don't look up these things. I have better things to do with my time. But I love all of you for sending me the information that's necessary. So anyone that has the information on these cases can come forward and send it to Yvette, and I'd appreciate it, because I really want to speak from what's out there as opposed to, you know, what I know from, not hearsay, but from being there and experiencing this. They, you know, their father-in-law was Tiny Manzo, and he was murdered by the mob and cut up and placed in front of, you know, the Brownstone in the trunk of his Cadillac. And, you know, his hands were cut off and another part of his body was cut off and put in his mouth. And I think that symbolizes rats and thieves when your hands are put into your pockets. So when they were screaming about me being dangerous for something that I did before I was ever even an adult, married, or a mother, it was really hard to understand why that was even relevant, you know, to 2007, 8, 9, 10, whatever it was. Yeah, when it happened in the 1900s. Now
well, speaking of
let's
people,
just say, yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of people talking about you and crimes, I had to bring this back up.
Oh, we missed Girardi. We missed the Girardis.
Oh, that's a hot case, and she's on this next season coming up. It looks like she has a lot to say and defend.
And you know,
Erica
Jane and I, we apparently worked at, you know, the same club in New Jersey, Shakers, she revisited there and filmed there, and then it was posted somewhere where I was tagged in it, that we both worked there during a certain amount of time. And I believe probably we knew each other then, but I didn't hang out after work, much like I didn't hang out after work here. Who are you going to hang out with? The customers? Those are the people paying your bills. You don't sit around and drink with them. Leave, go home, come back and make your money. It's a business.
I like this Erica Jane's personality though.
I
I'm
do
not
like
sure
how
about her
ballsy she
crimes,
is,
but
and I like everything about her, except for the fact now that it appears she wasn't completely unaware of what's going on. And to me, when you're taking money from other people, it doesn't belong to you, no matter how you got it. It's not yours. So you just stole from everybody that's needing something right now, so that you can have how many millions and millions and tens of 20s, millions of dollars that you have. Why?
how much do you need? How many millions do we need?
Well, a lot, but it should be more money. Millionaires are no
Very
longer
fair.
really legitimately recognized as wealth. Billionaires are. I should know.
Yep. That's definitely where we are in our society for sure.
And it is. And I think that it's the people that try to remain relevant through what they have, rather than
do you feel like they're victims? Do you feel like some of these girls have just fallen victim, that they've gotten a little taste of fame and they kind of get lost in the sauce and they get involved with these crimes because they're just trying to keep up with this lifestyle? Or do you feel like they should be held responsible for everything that they've done?
Let's go with option number. Yeah.
I mean, these grown women
push babies through their vaginas. They know what they're doing. We feel pain differently than men. Trust me. You know what you're doing. You're onto it. And the more people say that they weren't aware of what their husbands were doing, I didn't know. Bullshit. Where did you think the money was coming from? Honestly.
Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they just don't. I don't know. I think it's different when you're married to someone as opposed to just dating someone. So I probably.
Honey, you preaching to the choir right now. I've been married a few times and engaged multiple times. So yeah, it is different. And you have a lot more access to the knowledge. Even if you want to call the office, you are Mrs. whatever. Call it.
Right.
The employees aren't going to fuck with that. To the best of their knowledge, the boss wants to talk to his wife. And the wife can walk through the door at any time. So yeah, if she didn't know anything, then that means she wasn't being a wife.
Right. It does make you question their relationship. I knew what
my husband was doing. Trust me. And I caught him all the time. I'm always aware. And I'll forgive you once or twice, but not the third time.
I mean, what is it?
But that only goes for my husband's people, not
me twice.
Yeah. No, I wasn't a fool. I was done.
Yeah, I don't see that happening to you. But on that topic of people talking about you and the crimes of the housewives, of the real housewives, the real crimes. It's funny. I brought up in our last episode that you had this interview with, we know, Heather McDonald.
Oh yeah.
And she actually did a recent podcast where she spoke about her opinions on the crimes of the housewives and their mugshots. Let's
rewind for a moment, because I did go on Dana Wilkie's show today, and Dana took my back and went to ask Heather, as we will see on her show, Dishing with Dana. Yeah. Dishing
drama with Dana Wilkie.
There it is. Okay, thank you. And I so appreciated her going to Heather, and Heather adamantly denied it. And so I said, I'm going to wait and speak with. She said, you got the information from a fan. I said, actually, I got it from one of the members of my team. And I said, and then I got a note later saying that it was a fan that gave it to the member of my team. Well, here's the member. Pardon me. That wine. See, that's why I don't drink. That's not ladylike. Can't be burping. Pardon me.
Oh, I thought you hiccuped. It was the cutest burp I've ever heard.
Well, thank you.
Okay, well,
so
just
here's
to clear
what I
the
have
air.
to say. First, let me finish. So I was ready to apologize, but I needed to talk to you first. And then when I did, I'm going to let you take it from here. This is what you had to say.
Sure, sure. So, I mean, I'm very new to talking about all of this, just being friends with
You're
you.
doing a fantastic job. You really
Thank you.
are.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. In all honesty, I did notice a fan commented on one of your videos and they mentioned that Heather had called you Beverly. So to me, obviously, I know how hurtful that can be to you. I don't really know what Heather's intentions were, but I took it upon myself, to check it out and see if it's true. You can't believe everything that the fans say. So that does bring me to a clip I have that I'll play for you. This is from Heather's podcast. And this is the clip in question where she does call you Beverly. And if I'm correct or not, you're saying that Dana, which very nice of Dana to stand up for her friend and kind of try to clear the air and have transparency. According to Heather, this was never said, or maybe she just wasn't aware of what it was that she said that upset you, but I'm going to go ahead and play it for us.
Okay.
No,
I'm
those aren't
fast-forward
bad
this
with
really
bad
quick.
Botox and a mugshot. Been there. Danielle, aka Beverly of New Jersey. That was a big deal. She was our first mugshot, and that was from a long time ago.
I mean, I don't have to play the rest of the clip, but I feel like that
because I'm not
just
going
says
to
everything.
promote for her, but I'm going to say this. The context she was using it in, isn't the hurtful part. It's
Right.
It's not that she used it in a hurtful way. And for that, okay, maybe she thought that it was innocent because she didn't use it in that way. But here's the point. Why was it necessary? Just Danielle. And she did the right thing by saying from a long time ago. That I appreciated. So I don't think she was saying in a malicious way. And for that, I am sorry that I would have jumped to that conclusion. However, it wasn't necessary to even bring up the AKA and on. Just, Danielle, period.
Sure. And I also, I have had time to reflect. And as a man, I was the one that called Heather fake. In the moment, I obviously spoke from emotion to defend my friend.
Of course, because you were defending me. You felt bad because you know how that affects me.
Exactly. And you know what, Heather, I know you're super talented and super funny and everything. But the fact of the matter is that comment was made. And I thought it was my duty.
Yeah, you
as
did say
Danielle's
the
friend.
word. You did say the name. She did say the name. So hopefully we'll get it cleared up. Maybe Heather would like to give a statement about it. I don't know, but I'm going to definitely contact Dana when we're finished and let her know that, it was said, and I'm going to reveal to her how it was said. And I might even send her the little clip so that she knows what context it was used in. But I still appreciated Dana having my back because the Housewives normally don't have my back. And it was nice to see that. And I've enjoyed Heather's work for many, many years, and I will in the years to come. But it's a little surprising that you just didn't refrain from going for that name. You didn't have to. It wasn't necessary in the moment. Really wasn't necessary. People know the information already. You don't have to regurgitate it over and over again. I mean, and I didn't commit crimes as an adult either. So just saying. Yet. No, I'm kidding.
There's still time. There's still time.
Oh God, no. I don't have the energy for any of that. It's like lies. I can't remember them, so why tell them?
Right on. Right on. Well, this was a very spicy
Thank you for
bonus
clearing that up.
episode.
Thank you.
For sure, for sure.
It. I do have something
also...
here before we go. I just want to give a little plug to my friend, and I'm going to do a little more plugging in the near future. So, this is a fellow Jersey girl who, wanted me to have her book. And I think, she's just really, she's a bubbly girl. I met her, though. I didn't know who she was when she approached me at Arsen Gorgov's salon. We got our hair done at the same place and we're on the same schedule. I mean, I guess she was as gray as I was, as often as I was. And so I would run into her often. And she wanted to send me this book. And I really appreciate even the title, and I think she's really something special. She is the editor-in-chief of Women's Day magazine. And Megan Murphy, this one's for you because I literally don't like reading. I like audiobooks, but I'm going to sit down and read this one for you. And I'm going to also say, I love the title, Your Fully Charged Life. It's brilliant. And I'm really
That was a
dying
beautiful
to dive
cover.
into this. And I think my daughter Jillian's going to read it right after me, but this one's for you, sweetheart. Megan, I appreciate it so much. And I can't wait for us to work together in the near future because, girl, you got me with this one. And by the
I
way,
love
yeah,
it.
who's doing my hair these days? Well, I'll text you that information, okay? So this is for my girl, Megan Murphy. Everybody, if you want your fully charged life to become applicable, we can actually start a book club. And I think we should start reading books, and it would help our education and help our vocabulary. So let's try to send a few to Teresa as well, because we all know she does need a little bit of help in the vocabulary department, and definitions are good too, if you want to add those. But anyway, all kidding aside, I love books, and I've always been a big fan of books. And this one, I'm going to see if I can get my fully charged life. So thanks, Megan, so much. And thanks, Yvette. I appreciate it. You know, I'll get
For
you a
sure.
copy if you'd like.
Yeah, I would love to.
I'm
That
really
cover looks
excited to
great.
dive into this. And she sent
And
a really
I love being a better me, and that just looks like a very helpful book. I'm curious what it's about.
I'm sure it's going to be something right up my alley. You know, I love things like this that are suggestive and improve your life. Anything to improve your life and make the world better. You
Love
can't
it.
spend. I mean, it's hard to sell books these days, so I am hoping that people will pitch in and you know, buy her book. It's a hard copy. Those are expensive to make. So come on, people. Get your
For
fully
sure.
charged life, okay? So
For
that's
sure.
enough of a plug for now. I want to thank everybody, and you as usual, Yvette, for being here with me and being my friend and watching my back and watching over me and doing all of this with me for the day after show. All of you, I hope you've enjoyed this bonus episode, and I hope you'll return and make sure that you keep returning. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, follow Yvette on Instagram. You have any questions you'd like to be on the show or perhaps considered for the show, please DM Yvette. And I think it's at YAVET __. Okay.
That's right.
We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks so
Bye,
much.
guys. Thanks.